just to bring something up, you're not on social media too much, but one of the big things of social media that going around, because they screened the first 3 episodes for the press, and everyone was saying that the first 2 episodes were good, but then they quote unquote go woke and ruin the show in the third episode. I was like, what? And everyone's like, you'll see. Basically, what it was is because they made KB's two mothers. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
I gotta be honest. It's like I think some people are just looking for things to be offended because okay, that just watching it, I didn't that did not even enter my mind as like of something being quote unquote woke or you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I
It
I
just
cl-
didn't enter my mind.
well, no, I agree. I'm with the same mindset, and I think it's funny because certainly I think clearly based on Disney's track record, those are meant to be her two parents, but it was never explicitly explained. So you could theoretically say that's the mom and their sister.
But
I
even
mean,
if it's not,
yeah, obviously in the big scheme of things, who gives a shit, right? But I think at the same time, it's kind of like there are people out there. I just had this conversation with someone yesterday. There are people out there that are very sensitive about things when it comes to quote unquote wokeness. Uh, I think there's almost a feeling of we got to find a way to shut this down, or we got to find a way to shit all over this show before it even has a chance to succeed. And it's kind of like I almost feel as though that's just become the agenda for some people. But, right? There's always going to be haters, regardless. In other words, people. I mean, if you're looking critically at the show, they're hitting all the right cues. I mean, that should not even be a factor, really. But I think there are people that are just going to make an issue out of something that's not an issue, really, in my opinion. Um, but anyhow, that's just kind of my 2 cents.
yeah, it's like we all know Disney has an agenda in certain things with the way they stick stuff in there, and I don't, you can admit that. But the only time it bothers me is when it just seems like it hits you over the head. Like I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but just a real quick aside. I remember watching this episode of Star Trek: Brave New Worlds,
Uh huh.
and it was actually a good show. But I just remember there's a scene where they're rescuing this derelict ship that's just calling an SOS, and as the kids enter the hangar. I mean, you could see the checklist in your head. It's like, okay, there's the white kid, there's a black kid, there's a Mexican
Right.
kid, there's a kid. You know what I'm saying? It
Right.
just, it was just so obvious. It took me out, and that's the kind of stuff that bothers me. It's not trying to push an agenda or trying to make this normal, whatever. It really doesn't bother me.
Well, I think
Gay
I.
characters don't bother me. It doesn't bother me, but it's
I
just when it just seems shoved in your face and it's
well,
like it takes you out.
no, no, I hear you. It's almost to me like so. What would have been gratuitous to me is let's say there was a scene where for 30 seconds, which is a long time on a show, if you're just focusing on a scene, a 30-second shot of two people of the same sex basically in bed. Maybe there's kissing, maybe there's some sort of other sexual activity, and then they're there having a conversation. To me, that would feel a little bit too gratuitous. Here you can interpret that a few different ways. If you see it for what it is, okay, it is what it is, but it's
Yeah,
not over the top, it's not in your face, it's not gratuitous, right?
exactly. It's like, and then I expected there to be something else. The way it's just crazy. It's like I didn't bring it up last week, but I had been reading the comments. Oh, prepare for episode 3. They go off the rails. I'm like, and it's like it didn't even focus on those two. And it's like I don't know. It just goes to show that, like you said, some people are just gonna hate just to hate, and it's like
That's
not
right.
even give a chance. But anyways,